The card I'm going to show you today uses the stamp set Moving Forward, and this is the stamp set that is designated this year to benefit the Ronald McDonald House Charities. So for every stamp set that's sold, Stampin' Up! Donates money to the Ronald McDonald House Charities Fund. The piece I'm going to use today is just this one little bird out of the stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And before I actually start stamping, I just want to build the card before I add the focal point, which will be the bird. So this is Primrose Petals. It's a new in color, and this piece of cardstock is 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And I'm going to use my bone folder to get a good crisp fold there. And then this is some of the designer paper. It's a pack that's got all of the new 2012, 2014 ink colors. So again, this is called Primrose Petals. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of this and attach it over here on the edge of the card. And you may notice this adhesive refill looks a little bit different. It's blue. And we had a change with our supplier, and so if you order snail adhesive refills from now on, it will be this blue color. It still works great, but just a heads up in case you place an order and wonder why it's changed. This piece is our basic gray cardstock, and this piece was 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And I want to make a banner out of this, so I'm going to notch out the end. And I'm going to use a square punch to do that. I'm just lining up the edges here and squeeze like that to give me my banner look. You can certainly just do that with scissors, but it's just a fun little trick to use the square punch to do that. So I'll put adhesive on the back of this and add this right here to the card. And then I have a piece of our satin stitched ribbon. This is Raspberry Ripple, which is another in color for this year. And I want to notch the ribbon as well. So I'm going to fold one end in half like this, and then I'll just take my scissor and go up so I get that same notch. And then I'm going to take my adhesive and just go right along the center of this layer. I put it on the cardstock rather than the ribbon just because it's easier for the adhesive to stick to the cardstock. Sometimes it gets caught up in the ribbon, so it's just easier to put it right on like that. The next piece I pre-cut. This is the decorative label punch, and this is Raspberry Ripple cardstock. So I'll add that here. And you can see we're building all these layers. We just need our focal point. So let's go ahead and do that. This is Primrose Petals ink. Again, if you haven't used our new ink pads yet, you can probably see a difference just in the appearance. And you need to be really careful when you ink up your stamp. You just need to gently tap it. You can see how much ink is on there already just from that gentle tap. And then I'm going to just stamp on some Whisper White cardstock, some scrap. And then I'll take my scalloped oval punch, hold it upside down so I can line up the bird right in the center, and then just squeeze it together and pop that out. And then instead of just adding this piece right here as our focal point, the next step I'm going to do really sets it apart. And I'm going to use our piercing mat and tool with the essentials. Well, let me just show you all the pieces. These are all of the templates that you get in the essentials paper piercing pack. So there's all these different ones here. These coordinate with some framelits, some edgelets, just to do some straight lines. And then this one is fun. You can do all sorts of circles here. And I'm going to use this one with the scalloped ovals. So you can see it lines up perfectly. And then I just take my paper piercing tool, which is right here, and I'm just going to go through the template and poke these little holes right through. So while I'm doing that, I will mention that the ribbon that I use, the stitched satin ribbon, is part of a promotion this month with Stampin' Up! And if you place a $40 order of any of our products, you get any spool of that ribbon free. And it comes in 5 different colors, all of our in colors. So Midnight Muse, Gumball Green, Summer Starfruit, And then the two different colors I'm using on this project, the Raspberry Ripple and the Primrose Petals. So some very, very pretty ribbon in those new in colors. So now I will just peel this off, and I've got the paper piercing around there, which really just sets that apart. So I'll get the mat and my little tool out of the way. And then on the back here, I'm just going to put a dimensional to pop it up and again, just add more focus. And I'll just center that on the decorative label punch. The last thing I want to do with this is pull in one of our single stamps. This one is called Beautiful Birthday, and it's just what it says, just a really pretty birthday greeting. And I'm going to use Raspberry Ripple ink. So again, just gently tap it, and then I'll stamp it right down here in the corner. This card happens to be one of the cards that my, goodness, that new one is hard to close. This is one of the cards that my Stamps in the Mail Club is doing this month. For the last few months, they've used this stamp set to create 12 different cards. And so if you're in my Stamps in the Mail, this is a little sneak peek for you for one of your cards this month. If you're interested in my new Stamps in the Mail, I'm starting a new session in October that's going to be Christmas and use the stamp set Joyous Celebrations. So lots of fun stuff coming up, and thank you for watching my video. For daily creative inspiration, visit my blog or find me on Facebook at Jody Reinert Stamps.